How's everybody doing today? So there might be times or points in your life where you feel like you're going through different phases, and these phases make you feel different emotionally or even physically. And I'm sure you've all experienced this before, where there was like a couple months or maybe even a half a year in a specific year where you just kind of like didn't want to do anything. Like you didn't want to go to work, you didn't want to exercise, you didn't want to make any phone calls. These states happen because it's trying to draw something up for you to work on in your life and in your thought patterns. And there are also times where you need to rest and stuff like that, where you need to take a step away and let your body recenter and align. And you'll know, if you're doing your spiritual practices, you'll know what that is, because let's say you take a month off where you're like not doing much of anything, you're not even doing your spiritual practices, whether it be like meditation or whatever. Your body intuitively, because a lot of the stuff is instinctual, because the instinct is the sensory mechanism that lets you know, it's, hey, I need to do this. When you need to rest, your body says, hey, go rest, go sit down, go sleep, stop talking, stop talking on the phone, stop watching TV. You'll get these sensory, this instinct thought that may come in your head, or feeling that says, hey, you need to stop doing this because we got to make a change or an adjustment. And this stuff happens for a reason. And it is difficult. Like I told you before in a previous video, when you're working a 9-to-5 job and you have to be there at least 40 hours a week, and it's a Monday through Friday thing, and you may have only a couple days off a year, the regular human body doesn't operate in those conditions. You don't mandate yourself to show up and perform every single day, no matter what, because what you're supposed to be aligned with is what you feel inspired to do, or what feels good for you in that moment. Because like, let's say it's 300, 400 years ago. Yeah, some people had farms and stuff, so if you didn't go out there and like tend to the cows and the chickens or whatever, so, animals might get loose, or they might not get fed and that type of thing, so you have to work on them every day. But it's also like, you don't necessarily have to like show up at 6 a.m. every day unless you want to. Or if there's a day you need to skip or you just need a rest, back then you didn't answer to anybody, you just stayed home. And then you show up the following day, right? That's because you're supposed to be in charge of yourself, no one else. That's why like supervisors, managers, and bosses, there really shouldn't be such a thing. Yes, there should be a parental system where you're teaching your child and you're in charge of your children, but after you grow up, the only one that's supposed to be responsible for yourself is you. So if you're not making any headway, that's on you. If you're making a lot of headway, that's on you. But you don't get disciplined and answer to something for not showing up one day or having to explain it. Because what happens is now you're in a power dynamic. By you having to report to a boss saying that you're not going to show up today, you automatically put the energy into their box to have power over you. They are now have power over you because you have that. You set that system and you set that energy in place by being in that position. I know it sounds a little bit wow. That's pretty cryptic of you to say, Brandon, but it's true. And in our current society, we don't figure this out because people don't teach us. Like when you're little, you're supposed to know this. Your parents tell you to say, hey, when you grow up, don't let anybody energetically have power over you. Even some of your family, or even all your family. You're in charge of yourself. Once you're to a certain age, where parents usually deem and say, okay, this individual is responsible, and not, acting like a 5-year-old or like immature. They can generally make decisions for themselves with a little bit of wisdom. That's for the parents to decide. But here, especially in America, like, we send our kids off at 18 years old. Okay, they're adults, bye. No, like, kids that young need guidance. Especially, I shouldn't like make it a gender thing or whatever, but like boys and men specifically, they're not fully mature at 18. Matter of fact, like genetically and physically, men don't even stop growing until they're 22 years old. Now, you might slow down a lot, but you're constantly developing until you're 22, sometimes even 25. And because of the way the men's and boys' mindset is, the way we operate, it takes a little bit more time to maintain that responsibility. I'm not saying they're like not wise or intelligent or anything like that. It's just like a little bit behind on probably like more on the responsibility side of things, where women tend to mature a little bit more in the responsibility category faster than boys. But I would even say 18 years old is too young for even maybe girls or to leave if they still feel like they need some more more instruction and more education. But our system is adapted as like, oh, just kick your children out at 18 years old, make them go to college, have somebody else deal with them and teach them. That in itself forces energy dynamics that they're not understanding. If when you're younger, you should be, like I said, taught not to have somebody have power or control over you. But now we are in a violent, toxic system where we're operating with a government, like a pyramid stepladder. Like, someone's above you, someone's above them, and it's just like pyramids, and it trickles down. Like, if you don't follow the protocol, then you kind of get eliminated. And they want that power structure because it makes them more powerful, while they keep you on a lower energy state and a lower power level, so to speak. I'm using power as an example, but you get what I'm saying. If you're running high vibration, it's easy for you to be responsible for yourself and not have to deal with anybody else. That's why like a lot of high vibrational people land up becoming like successful entrepreneurs, because they know that like they're managing their own company or system or trust funds or whatever the case may be. They're managing it and not having somebody above them. Now you say, oh well, you still have to sometimes you have to deal with customers or whatever. Yes, but when you're dealing with a customer, you're going to be, as an entrepreneur, or even if you're not an entrepreneur, you're going to deal with people. You give them to and from the mutual respect. I respect you, they respect, you respect them, they respect you on a cohesive, co-creating level. No one is above each other. You believe spiritually that they're all brothers and sisters on this planet, so no one's above or below each other, and that's kind of how you'd operate in a more successful manner, so to speak. I know this is a broad subject. It's kind of a big subject, actually. I'm not going to go too much more in depth. I could talk about it for longer, but we'll stay tuned for other videos. And if you have any questions about it, like, write in the comments. Email me at realitysimulator@gmail.com. I can answer them. So if you're hearing me say this on the video, if you have an opportunity to email me right now, well, I still have the ability to answer them, or in the comments, because there's not many coming in right now. I'll be more than happy to. I love answering the questions. It's easier for me to get across exactly what it, in detailed description of what it is you might be questioning or thinking about, directed in that way, instead of just more of a little bit more of a general, broad explanation, so to speak. But anyways, that's all I have to say for today. As always, I greatly appreciate you guys watching my videos, and have a nice day.